Welcome to my Hebrew channel, Mela Braika. I'm looking at Psalm 37, verses 35 and 36. And this has been a very interesting study for me. Often when I do the study portion of my videos, I'll see things that I hadn't seen before, hadn't noticed before. And in this case, alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of a certain sound. Alliteration is something that's common to most languages of the world. And see it in English, see it in Spanish, we see it here in Hebrew as well. But I haven't seen this much alliteration. This was turned out to be the elephant in the room. Wow, there were in this passage. There's some words that are very well known, some words that aren't so well known, and I kind of wondered why were those words picked to put together the passage, and so now we'll see why. So let's stick with the study. It becomes very interesting. And once I noticed that, of course, the Resh is the one that begins the acrostic here. So we're in the section, Psalm 37 is an acrostic, and this is the section begins with the Resh, okay, the R. And it doesn't only start the front, it goes, it's here, and it's here, and it's there, and it's there, and it's there, and it's there, and it's there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Then finally, when you get to here, no more Resh. But that then is alliteration. In other words, the R sound, r, 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 is repeated through the entire portion here. The first few words are very well known, and then yeah, this one's sort of okay. And then words that aren't used a whole lot, and sometimes a little hard to define the meaning, are there, but they are there. Most certainly, the resh certainly appears in each spot right here. So raiti. Now I looked, I saw, and I was looking, and incidentally, in doing the translation, I wanted to pick up, this is very much my own translation here. I wanted to pick up the resh here, staring, terrible, criminal, spreading, green, tree, and cross. Okay, so all of these R's that you have in the translation, you have the same R or the same resh over here in the Hebrew. So every time I spotted a resh, I try to put it into the R sound over in the translation. Raiti, this is a first person suffix form. We've seen this one here. We've seen as a negation in the study, lo raiti. I've never seen a righteous man or the seed of a righteous man begging for food. But here we see it just raiti, starting right out with the resh, okay? Raiti, okay? A little the he, pre-positive of the he in the front here. So raiti, rasha, an evil one. This one's very well known. And if we use the word criminal, in other words, evil, bad guy, terrible guy, so rasha, singular, I've seen a bad criminal. Aritz, terrible. Aritz, powerful, forceful. Yeah, there are actually quite a few English adjectives that cover what this is here. So raiti, rasha, aritz, powerful, terrible, criminal, bad guy. And then you got a label here in the front of the mem. Mems will carry label conjunctions, or labels carry a surik or an u sound conjunction here. Okay. Meat. This is a meat or heat pile. This is then a reflexive heat pile, and so meat. Aret are, and he was this is it's spreading out. Yeah, mitaro. Yeah, aroch is to set out, to spread out. Okay, so this is, and he was spreading out. Okay, so this was something that seems to be happening in and of itself. So mitaroch. Okay, so there's mitarech. Okay, I was carrying this one as a holem, but it's not. It's a revia. Okay, so mitarech. So this is, but so this, if this is a revia, then that's going to be a mugrash. So revia mugrash. Same thing, I think, in the next one. This is a revia, and also mugrash. You can barely see it here, but there's a set of revia mugrash closing off both of these sections here. So u mitaresh, and he was spreading out. He was Yeah, Resh is to set out, spread out. Ke etzra. Now this is a tree. Etzra. Now, incidentally, translators have been having a very hard time sort of defining or figuring out just what trees. All kinds of guessing games. Here's the laurel and things like that. But it simply is zera. It's something that's got leaves on. It's kind of spreading out. It's got the branches sticking up. So this is zera. And you see that rays of the sun, rays of the veins of a plant. So very similar to it's part of this whole family of zera that you see even all the way from Genesis 1:1. So zera, things that are spreading out. Okay. Zera, ranan. This is green. Okay, ranan. Our scribe made this last one look a little bit like a zayin, but it's actually a nun, ranan. Okay, and I'll take it a little bit as an emphatic nun, just a very green tree, okay, very green, ranan. Then she looks up, so closes off this verse, and we begin again with the next verse. Va avor. No, let's see, yeah, va avor. Okay, this is a holom certainly here. So, and again the same dehi, prepositive here. Nice little metech to separate out the first syllable here. Va ya avor, and then he crossed in front. Okay, he went right on by. Boom. Zoom. Avor is to cross over from one side to the other, or cross he crossed either through my field of vision, or crossed through world history, or he just crossed on through from this life to the next. There's a lot of open ways of looking at this, but he crossed through. He's on his way. But this is what the psalm is after, is emphasizing. He's gone through. He's passed on through whatever he's done. All this green stuff and all this terrible stuff and everything right here. He's passed through that. He's gone through it. And then what? Vehine. And the classic King James translation of hine is behold. Now, well, that's a little bit archaic, so I just said wow. Okay, hine. Hey, wow. This instead is based on what you would call a primitive root or an ancient root, where you have a man standing with his hands out like so. This is hine, and hey, hands standing out. The hey has that symbolism of when it came in from the hieroglyphs. I should have put in this, by the way, is the Rosh. This is the very much hieroglyphic version of the Resh. So you see this. I use that to sort of point out where all the Reshes are in our passage here. V'hine, Eini nu, and he wasn't anymore. He didn't exist anymore. He was done. Okay, Eini nu, and that's the end of him. Eini nu, up, time's up. You're done. Okay, so Hine nu, and then he did not exist anymore. Va, and then even more so, just sort of emphasizing what had happened to this Rasha. Avak Shehu, and I'm looking for him. Ve lo, and not Nisham, and he's not found. This is a nifl reflexive here, and he's not found. He cannot be found. He's not to be found. So he's done for. You can search all you want for him, and he cannot be found. This brings me to a very interesting thing that happened on my last trip to Europe. We went through Berlin, and my son asked me, he says, "Hey, Dad, what would you like to see here in town?" I says, "I'd like to see a parking lot." He looks at me and he goes, "Parking lot? Well, I got lots of parking lots all over the place here." And I said, "No, I want to see one particular parking lot." And so we looked it up in our little Google app thing, and off we went, and we found this parking lot. It's a parking lot, a couple of cars parked on it, some nearby apartment buildings. The parking lot's for the people who live in the apartment buildings. And right on the corner, there's a little sign, and it's a little information thing, and it says, well, here's a spot where Hitler had his bunker at the end of the of the Second World War. And this is the place where he committed suicide. And it's very noteworthy, I would say, and very significant that the only thing to be seen there is a parking lot and the little information board, of course. And so I think that's very appropriate. Criminals and evil people in the world, during the time that they are in power and they're flourishing, they're out there like a green tree and everything's going their way, and they've got control of whatever is under their hand, and they are prospering, they're getting rich, and they're doing everything they want to do with themselves and with others. And then suddenly, time's up. Boom, done. and you can go look for him. You'll find a parking lot. You'll find a little sign saying, "Oh, this is where this guy committed suicide." Or, and sometimes, well, many criminals in the world just simply disappear out of sight, and nobody knows really where they are, what happened to them. All kinds of things, all kinds of conjectures as to what happened to them, but they're gone. They're in the hands of God and facing eternal punishment. So it's a beautiful portion here, and as I said, a lot of alliteration going on here. Raiti, Rasha, Aritz, Mita, Arach, Aroch, Arech, Ke Etzra, Ra'anan. Okay, Ra'anan. So you got Resh, Raiti, Rata, evil guy, bad guy, terrible guy, criminal. Aritz, he's terrible. This is a powerful, terrible. Aritz, and then Mitarech, and then he's also he's spreading person out who's setting up his position, actually setting out what is happening with himself. Mitarech. Okay, Ezra has a tree. Ra'anan has a green tree. So you got the Ezrach and Ra'anan. Okay, so there's a whole set of R's going out here. I was staring at a terrible criminal, and he was spreading like a green tree, and he crossed by, and wow, he was no more. I'm looking for him. He's not to be found. So that's what happens with evil in the world. And while it's happening, of course, it hurts. While it's happening, you look at the terror, and you look at all the awful things. The reign of terror of the French Revolution. You had Robespierre and all these people chopping heads off a whole bunch of other people. And then when that thing ran its course, all the other people said, enough of that. And the ones who were chopping off heads, they had their heads lopped off, and that seemed highly appropriate also. Somebody who's involved in evil, somebody who's center of life, whose focus on life is evil, their time will be up, and then they will come, most certainly. They come under the judgment of God. And the rest of us can take a look at it, and this gives us perspective as to what happens. We'll be there looking for that spot. We'll be there thinking about them, but they are no more. That's it's done for. And just personally, one of the reasons I went there, Hitler, of course, terrorized my mother when she was a young person over in Holland during the Nazi occupation. And when Hitler passed, Mom was very much relieved, very, very, he's met his end. That's the end of that. And that's the way we should be able to look at it. Everybody comes into the hands of judgment of God. And if you've done something evil, punishment will be certain. If you have been faithful to the Lord, he receives you as his child, and he welcomes you into his arms. And he says, welcome, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over little, I will give you much. So that's a tremendous promise we have from our Lord, that he sits in judgment. Whatever evil in the world will come under his judgment, and we will receive what belongs to us and what's promised to us by God. So God bless you, and God strengthen you in this day. Until the next time.